Hey everybody, what's up? Gary Simon here. So today we're going to be checking out something called Tailblocks. All right, so most of you know what TailwindCSS is. And if you don't know what it is, you can check my YouTube channel, search. I have a crash course on it, I believe, and a bunch of other people do as well. And it's just a really modern, popular way to handle CSS as it pertains to your UI designs. All right, and so what Tailblocks is it uses TailwindCSS as the backbone, and it provides you with code snippets for common UI design patterns. And so what we'll do is I'm going to show you how to use Tailblocks to really rapidly create a fully polished landing page within minutes. And I'll also show you how to customize it further. So this is Tailblocks. You can see on the side we have different categories like contact. So these are different code snippets for contact sections. There's content, there's call to action, e-commerce, features, footers, galleries, headers, heroes. They're all really well designed. They're all responsive. They allow you to change the color scheme, see what they look like, responsive formats, and also light and dark mode. And when you click view code, you copy to clipboard or preview, and it's just really robust in a really quick way. So again, I'm going to show you exactly, how to get set up with this, and get Tailwind integrated. We'll create a very simple landing page, and I'll show you how to customize it as well. All right, so if you haven't yet, subscribe. Now, before we begin, this video is sponsored by Scrimba. Now, Scrimba is the easiest and most interactive way to grow your coding skills. It's a mind-blowing technology that allows you to play around the code directly inside screencasts. For instance, you're probably a front-end developer if you're watching this video, which means you need to know JavaScript. At Scrimba, you can take the JavaScript bootcamp and learn everything you need to know in order to become a more robust front-end developer. So if you hurry up and click the link below here in the YouTube description, you will receive a massive discount, but you have to hurry because we're limiting it to the very first 50 people. All right, so here we are at Tailblocks. You can go ahead and click on the link in the YouTube description to get this launched up. All right, so basically we have this sidebar here, and these are all just snippets. All right, so we need to find whatever it is that we want to start off with first, and usually 99 out of 100 times it's going to be a menu or a nav bar of some sort. So you can see these are split up into different columns. We have blog, contact, content, call to action, e-commerce, features, sections, footers, headers. All right, so we'll do the header option. What's this look like? What's that one look? Okay, that looks pretty cool right here. We'll say for whatever reason we want to have this sort of layout, and we can see it is responsive. So what we can do is click. You can also choose the colors that are that it chooses here. So if we choose teal or whatever, we'll just stick with that. And it also, right here we could choose, tablets and phones just to see what happens. Now, of course, this particular example, the menu actually isn't responsive, so you'd want to take that into consideration. Also, you can see there's a dark mode and light mode. Very cool. So let's just choose this one. We'll say we want to go with this one. You click copy to clipboard. All right, so this is all the HTML. So we'll go ahead and with that in mind, I have a blank folder, there's nothing in it. So I'm in Visual Studio Code. We're gonna do index.html, exclamation point, enter for the abbreviation to get that boilerplate up. We're gonna also have to get Tailwind in here in order for this to work, because if we don't, and we just paste this in within the body tags, and then we right click open with live server, which is an extension you can get, this is what you're gonna end up with. Yeah, not very good. So what you need to do, and the easiest way for us to do this to get started as fast as possible, is I'm going to use the CDN option, which is a content delivery network option for getting Tailwind integrated. Just know that if you do go this route, where you're just using this link element to link to a tailwind.min.css file, there are certain limitations with that. So if you wanted this to be a serious project, you'd probably want to use something like npm or whatever to get it integrated. But I just want this to be fast, no big deal. So now if I save that, there we go. We have exactly what we need in the browser based on the code snippet. Very easy. So then you just come in here. Now, of course, you should know basic Tailwind and how it works. So there's a bunch of Tailwind courses free, even on YouTube. I did one. There's a bunch of them that you can find just so you can understand how it works. So basically, Tailwind you're not writing much CSS. Instead, you're using a lot of these classes to help define the structure of the layout, okay? So that's what this Tailwind blocks or Tailblocks thing kind of does for you. It actually creates the HTML for you as well based on popular sort of UI patterns. So you would come in here and change it to your logo, you know, whatever. I'll put Gary Simon, your own links and all that. And again, just updates automatically. Very cool stuff. So let's consider, you know, what else is it that we would possibly want to have that's a part of the next part of our layout. So the next part, okay, so let's go back to, let's close that out. Let's go back to our Tailblocks, come out here. Let's get this a little bit larger. So there was a hero section. That's usually kind of what you put below most landing pages, below the, I'll just Control F this, below the navigation at least. So here's a real common pattern that people use. Headline, a paragraph, and a couple call to action buttons, and maybe there. I think we'll just stick with that. It's real simple. Of course, there's, you know, other examples that you can use based on your needs. Let's go ahead, view code, copy to clipboard. We'll go ahead, paste that in, and then go ahead and check that out in the browser. And of course, it works perfectly fine. It's responsive, and yeah, really good. All right, so now what do we want after that? Let's come back. Oops, why do I keep doing that? There. Let's go back here to Tailblocks, and let's do a features. Usually below the hero section is a features section of some sort. So where's our features? Feature. There we go. Yeah, maybe we'll go with this one right here. Sort of nice card feature sections with icons. All right, view code, copy to clipboard. Save that. Now, of course, we're just getting this here, you know, all this initial stuff, and then we're gonna try to customize it. All right, so that's good. Maybe after that, we'll have, I think they have a content section as well. So let's check that out. Content, what is this? Let's see what else they have. I think they have a couple things like for like testimonials possibly. Team, let's do a team one. All right, we'll choose this one right here. View code, copy to clipboard. Now, as you can see, there's a lot of HTML, but that's kind of how it works when you're dealing with Tailwind. There's the team, and then let's have a footer finally. So just one more section. Footer, and you know, anything will work here pretty much. We could choose this one. View code, copy, and finally, we have a well-designed page here with a footer, all that good stuff, with a consistent color theme as well. So at this point, let's say you're happy with the overall structure. This is almost kind of like a skeleton UI. But now, in my opinion, when you use a template, you really need to make it your own. Not in terms of just branding and colors and the content and the ad copy. You also, in my opinion, should try to do something unique about it that'll give it its own flair, so that it doesn't maybe perhaps feel so template-y. And I'll just give you a couple ideas about how you can go in that general direction. So it does help to know basic CSS and how you can start to manipulate things around. One of the things I think that lacks here is each section kind of, it would seem more of like a structured layout if each of these sections were separated visually. So what that means is if I come out here, Control-Shift-I, get out the DevTools, and we select this section right here, we can give this a background color. So if I type background here, and I just type in gray for now, that's obviously ugly. I'm just doing that so I get access to the color picker. And then maybe we'll come out here to the blues or something, which you don't have to. Maybe you could use pink or something, maybe real light. Now, of course, at the same time, you want it to work. You want a color that works with your existing content that's on there. So I'm kind of looking at in this area right here with these little circles. We want it to contrast enough. So this is pretty much a complete gray color. I wanted it to have a little bit of color in it. Let's see here. There, just a tint of blue. So that is a color code right there, okay? So of course, we're just doing this in the browser, so if we refresh this, we're gonna lose this change that we made. But the reason I did this is so that we can actually see what it looks like on the actual project. So what we can do is, let's come up here all the way to the top, just underneath our Tailwind include. So we're gonna do another link to CSS main.css. Let's create that folder, CSS right here. A main.sass file if you want to use Sass. You don't necessarily need to. I'm going to watch Sass. That's also an extension I've installed, a live Sass compiler. And then we will come down here, and that section was, I think, let's see here, right here. So we're going to add a custom class right here. So we'll call this class light BG because it's a light background, light-BG. So we'll save that. We'll do light BG, and oops, we'll do background, and then save it. So now, if this is refreshed, it's now a permanent part of our layout. I think this is a pretty decent color. You could do other things too to really customize this and make it its own in a sense. For instance, what if you wanted to give it like a background? Like, so you could give it some sort of cool illustrative little background. They could be icons. There's so many different ways that you can approach this. You could do a big text-based watermark, which I'm a fan of. I like it a lot. So let me just show you how you can do that as an example. So what I'll put in is our own HTML. I think we'll put it just right here. We'll make it a span of class large watermark, if I can spell, and then we'll just put raw denim. You can make it say whatever you want, but I think that's the filler text that they use, raw denim right here. So now you can see it right here in this section. So what we can do is I'm gonna give this its own class as well. We're gonna call it relative because we're gonna make this block its parent container. This element's parent container is right here. We're going to make it a relative, position relative in CSS, and then we can make this position absolute. And you'll see how that works. So let's go and make relative, position relative, and then we will make, what is that? Large watermark, okay? Large watermark, position absolute. All right, so nothing much is going to change here. In fact, if you look at it, nothing changes at all. But now it's going to allow us to position this large watermark class. All right, so what we'll do is I'll put in, after position absolute, we're going to do, let's see here. We'll do a large font size of like 22 M units. And this is going to be massive, of course. We're also going to do white space no wrap. Because as you can see, they're kind of it was situated on, it was wrapping to the next line. We didn't want to do that. Let's also give it a font family of, let's just do serif. We'll do this one right here. There we go. So now we're looking at that. Of course, this isn't a watermark because of the high contrast, so we'll take the opacity way, way, way down. Opacity 0.07, so just 7%. Now look at that. That's freaking cool looking, right? So, you know, it becomes a matter of just modifying your design in such a way that it really starts to stand on its own because you're making small adjustments to each section that make them unique, while still adhering to good, solid UI design fundamentals. So what else could we do? It seems like this section right here, our team, and this part, they feel like it feels like the footer could probably be changed. So let's do that as well. So the footer, let's get our little selector tool here. So this container right here, let's give it a background color. That's not the one we want to target. We want to target the footer, all right? So we'll get rid of that. Footer, there we go. Background, gray. All right, so let's get the color picker. Again, we're gonna stick with the blues. Maybe we'll go extra dark. Right around there. All right, so that's good right there. So that's the footer class, or footer element rather. So let's go find our footer. And we'll make this, let's see here. I'm gonna make sure, our dark BG. Okay, so we'll make this one dark BG. Dark BG, background, there we go. Now we have an issue, right? Because the labels we can't see anymore. So what we can do is just grab those. What are those? Those are H2s. So we can open up our dark BG and say H2 color white. So that should change all of our labels now to a color that now works. Now what about here? The hovers. There's two problems. I don't know why, but these are links, but they're changing it to this, the blinker cursor icon. We don't want that, so let's fix that. So these are just regular A tags. So what we'll do is just say A, hover, color white, and then also A itself, cursor, pointer. All right, so there we go. Now those are all fixed up and they look and work much better. This being white down here, I don't like that. I think we want to go a little bit darker. So this is div class, no, this, okay, so it's this BG gray 200. So all we have to do is background, gray. What I think we want to do is grab this one, but make it slightly darker. There we go. So now we'll take this BG gray 200. We could probably just override that, right? So we'll take BG gray 200, background. Oops, we already had that there. We'll save that. There we go. Now this is an issue over here. So what is that? Is that a link or it's a span? Wait, let's see. A. So we could just probably take, here, let's do this. A color white. There we go. So just take a look at how easy and quick that, oh, I screwed something up here though. We don't want that to happen. I think that was based on making this change right here. Let me see. Okay, yeah, that is the issue. So what we want to do is we want to make a class that specifically reference just this element down here. Let me do that real quick, because obviously when you're making these overrides, you don't want to screw things up too much. So what I'll do instead of using that class is make a different class. There's 3 of these, yeah, so we didn't want to do that. This is the bottom one that we want to change. We'll just do, let me think here. Darker BG. Oh, 1 second. There we go. Now we'll make it darker BG. So got this fixed, yet these are still, you know, as they're supposed to be. So now, there we go. Within, how long have I been at this? 17 minutes, and I've created a nice looking landing page that is responsive, works well at all device widths, and it looks quite professional. All right, so hopefully you enjoyed that. You learned something new, and now perhaps if you're somebody who, you know, is not great at UI design, you have a new way to create projects that are professional looking, instead of trying to wing it yourself when you're not quite ready and you're dealing with an important project, either personally or for a client. All right, so as always, make sure to subscribe, and I'll see you soon. Goodbye.